Hello, everyone, and welcome to the all new Disney Parks News Blog Podcast. We're your hosts, Danny,
My name is Robbie.
and in this podcast, I will be talking all things Disney Parks, mainly and mostly Disney World, since it's the only Disney park we've visited and one of the only ones open due to the pandemic. A little bit about myself. I'm from the island of Puerto Rico, born and raised. Last year, I participated in the Disney College program for 6 months in the spring and summer of 2019. I worked my first 4 months at Pinocchio Village House in Magic Kingdom and my last 2 months at Fantasmic in Disney's Hollywood Studios. I've visited Disney World many, many times previous to that, and I can truly say I am a huge Disney World fan. I watch lots of live streams and keep up with the latest news every single day. Robbie, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm also from the island of Puerto Rico. Daniela and we've actually met each other since we've been friends for like about 10 years now. I also did the Disney College program. So I started the Disney College program in August 2018. And then Daniela decided to join me because I was doing it. So she did it for one semester. I did it for a full year. And then after that, she left. I went over to be a part-time cast member until, of course, pandemic. I've unfortunately been laid off, but Magic of Disney still true and true, running through my veins, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah. So, all right, so let's get started with our first podcast topic, which is tips and tricks for visiting Disney World during the COVID-19 pandemic. Disney World is the most magical place on earth, and even with the pandemic going on, it still provides the best experience possible. Yes, things might look a little different, but if you follow these tips and tricks, I'm sure that you will have the most magical time of your life. So, the first tip that is here for you guys is bring more than one face covering. Robbie, what can you tell us about that?
So you might be thinking maybe the Florida heat, but it's November now, and close to December. We're in the holiday time, winter. So even though the Florida heat might not be there as prominently as in the summertime, we still recommend you bring maybe 2 or 3 masks. You can still Florida climate is very unpredictable, and also you never know if your masks might even fall on the floor and it's like deemed unusable because
That's
Disney.
very true. Yeah. And you can get it wet also, like in rides, like in Splash
Yeah, like
Mountain.
Splash Mountain, Cali River Rapids,
Yeah, you
which
get
Cali River
soaked.
Rapids I think is closed in Animal Kingdom because of the winter time, but
Oh yeah. But then when it opens again, you'll get very, very soaked. So bring more than one face covering for sure. And also, Florida is known for its rainfall. It rains every single day in Florida, so you're gonna get it wet sooner
if
or
you have a
later. So
backpack, bring an umbrella if you can too. It's not really part of our tips, but it's kind of like a Florida must-have.
exactly. So yeah, bring always more than one face covering. That way you'll have a very comfortable day in the parks with a very dry face covering. So the second tip would be take breaks in relaxation stations.
So again, with the Florida heat, or just you've been walking all day around the parks, you just want to take a little break. Find your nearest relaxation stations. I believe you can find those in the map, or if you don't have a map, or you just don't want to really touch too many things with your hands, you have the Disney World app at your disposal on your phone. Just download that. You can use the Disney free Wi-Fi and search for relaxation stations, or
Yeah.
search for the nearest cast member. They should be able to tell you where the nearest relaxation station is. At like 10-minute breaks, take your mask. Those are areas where you can take your mask off. A little room for some extra breathing, like for fresh air.
Yeah, so I suggest you take a couple of them, a couple of 10-minute breaks, relax, breathe some fresh air, enjoy a snack while you do, and then just continue to have fun.
Because
The
remember,
third tip.
I also wanted to say before you do that third tip, I don't think Disney allows eating and drinking and walking at the same time. So those relaxation stations are good for those little breaks where you want to eat something,
Is
and
very
not
true.
if you have a snack in your backpack and you don't want to act like buy something at one of your quick service restaurants.
Yeah, for sure. So the third tip would be use hand washing stations often. I suggest you do it whenever you see one, just use them, every like every hour or when you get out of each ride. And before eating as well, use those hand washing stations. They're very important.
Of course, and I'm sure the cast members will have hand sanitizer pumps at the earliest convenience or at their disposal, is what I mean to say. Um, and if you're washing your hands with soap and water in the nearest bathroom, restroom, whatever you want to call it, just remember 20 seconds with water and soap. Sing your favorite song, maybe 2 happy birthdays, and you should be good to go. Always like, you know, it's like rub your hands, rub the outside of your hands, in between your fingers, scrub your palms with your nails together, all that good jazz.
For sure. So our fourth tip would be drink lots and lots of water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
Cast members will always remind you to drink water. That's why you always see them with water bottles at the side of their hooks, on the side of their hips. If you can bring bottles of water with you, that's great. If you don't want to carry too much water with you, I don't recommend using water fountains at this time. COVID. We don't want to get no corona. But yeah, 350 a piece, 350 a bottle of water is a bit hefty, so we do recommend you bring those water bottles with you.
Or be sure to ask like any quick service restaurant for cups of water because they're all free of charge.
Exactly.
When I was during my time in the Disney College program, I would do that. I would just go to my nearest quick service restaurant and I would tell them to give me at least a couple of cups of water, and yeah, I would just do that and continue with my parks time. So yeah.
So for example, me and my friends would be walking around Magic Kingdom, and we're thirsty. We've been walking around all day. You can go to Pecos Bell and order however many people are there in your party. You can say there's 5 people in your party, just go to the nearest cast member or in at counters and just ask for 5 cups of water. They'll give them to you with ice for free. It's the best Disney hack we can give you to stay hydrated without spending a lot of money.
So the fifth and final tip would be long lines don't necessarily mean long wait times. So by that we mean there's no fast pass queue line, and all lines have social distancing markers at 6 feet apart. So lines will look longer, but they don't usually mean they're long. So check those wait times instead of like looking at the lines to have an accurate prediction of how long they are.
Of course, and if you can grab any cast member and if they're able to tell you more or less what the wait times are, they'll probably tell you, this is the wait time. Look at the time that you have like on top of the queue line, and it's probably a good indicator, but sometimes that indicator can be a little wrong, you know?
Exactly, yeah. So this is it. This is all for today's episode, and I hope these tips will help you have the best time and most wonderful time in the parks during these pandemic circumstances. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss out on any new episodes and latest parks news. I'm Danny.
I'm Robbie.
And we'll see you next time on the Disney Parks News Blog podcast. Have a magical day.
Have a magical day, guys.